good afternoon, or whenever you happen to be watching this. We're going to work on the solutions to homework 4. So this is homework 4, and working on section 8.2, learning exercises 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11, and supplemental learning exercises 2, 3, and 6. So we'll attack them in that order. So number 1 from section 8.2. On uses 3/8 times as many spools of thread in 1 month as Jack. On uses 2 spools of thread. So we have the ratio 3/8, and that compares on to Jack. And then we know that on uses 2 spools. So the question is, how many spools does Jack use? So we're going to set up our boxes, and I give 3 to on and 8 to Jack. And all total, that means I have, not all total, because the spools only belong to on. So I'm taking on spools, so 3 boxes have to be equal to his 2 spools. Divide both sides by 3 to get to 1 box. And 1 box is 2/3 of a spool. And now they're asking me about Jack, who has 8 boxes. So I'm going to take this ratio right here, the 1 box to 2/3 of a spool, and I'm going to multiply that by 8 boxes. So if I multiply by 8 on both sides, you get 2/3 times 8 over 1 gives you 16/3, which of course is 5 1/3 of a spool. Okay, so that's our answer to part A. Remember, for the exam, I'm going to want you to put that in a sentence. Part B, who uses more thread? Clearly Jack does, whether you look at the spools or you look at the boxes. And last, for number C, how much more? So if you take his 5 1/3 spools minus her 2 spools, that's 3 1/3. I'm assuming on is female, but that's a total guess here. 5 1/3 minus 2 would give you 3 1/3 spools more. Okay, so there's number 1. Number 4, we're jumping to number 4. Mary used 14 meters of ribbon to make bows and strips. She used 3/4 as much ribbon for bows as she did for strips. How many meters of ribbon did she use for bows and how many for strips? Okay, so we've got a ratio of 3 to 4. And that is bows to strips. And we know that it's 14 meters for both. Okay, so I'm going to set up my diagram. So bows and strips are my categories. Bows gets 3 according to the ratio. Strips gets 4. Together, because the 14 talks about both of them together, so both sets together is 7 boxes. And that's got to be the 14 meters. Now keep in mind, an equal sign goes between the two of them. Divide both sides by 7 to get 1 box is 2 meters. And then we're asked about both pieces. So for bows, we have 3 boxes. So again, we're using this ratio. And we're going to triple it. So if I get 3 boxes, that gives me 6 meters. For strips, I want 4 boxes. And so if we quadruple both sides or multiply by 4, that gives me 8 meters. And if you can check that when you add them up, you get 14. And again, you're going to use a sentence to give me the answer. Okay, so there is 1 and 4. Next on the list is number 5. Number 5, the big dog weighs 5 times as much as the little dog. So 5 to 1, big to little. The little dog weighs 2/3 as much as the medium. So 2/3 is little to medium. The medium-sized dog weighs 12 pounds more than little dog. So medium is 12 plus the little. Okay, so I'm going to set up my big, little, medium. If I stick with the first ratio, that means that big gets 5 for little's 1. In the second ratio, I need little to have 2. So that means I'm going to have to double everything that's out now. So if I double this one, I must also double this one. And now little has 2, so then I can give medium 3. Okay. Now, we want to use the 12. So what do we set equal to the 12 pounds? Well, the 12 pounds is how much more the medium dog is than the little dog. So if I look at my picture in my boxes, I do in fact have more boxes for the medium dog than the little one. How many more? Just this one. So in my picture, in terms of boxes, the medium dog is 1 box more than the little dog. So that means I set 1 box equal to the 12 pounds. And then they ask, how much does the big dog weigh? So I want to know the big dog is 10 boxes. So if I multiply my ratio by 10, that gives me 120 pounds for the big dog. And that's number 5. Next, we go to number 10. Number 10, Arica plans to donate a total of $100 to 4 charities. She wanted to give twice as much charity A to charity B. So twice as much is 2 to 1, charity A to charity B. 1/4 as much charity A to charity C. So 1/4 A to C. It worked out best if she gave $12 to charity D. So charity D gets $12. Well, if charity D gets $12, then what do I have left for A, B, and C if my total is $100? Well, I just subtract those to get $88 left for those 3. So now what I can do is to set up my boxes. And A gets 2 for every 1 that B gets. And then in the second ratio, A gets, for every 1 that A has, C gets 4. So for that first one, A gets 4. And for the second one, A gets 4. Sorry, C gets 4. And so the same thing would happen if I doubled my ratio and made it 2 to 8. Then I have 2 for A and 8 for C. Just make sure that any changes that you make preserves the first ratio. Okay, and then I'm going to use this information up here where the 3 A, B, and C together have to be 88. So the 3 categories, which is a total of 11 boxes, has to be equal to the $88. If we divide both sides by 11, that's 1 box is $8. And so that tells us that B, which is 1 box, we're going to give $8 to. Charity A is 2 boxes, so if we double this ratio that I've established, then we get $16. And C, I want 8 boxes, so I'm going to take that ratio and multiply it by 8 to get the 64. And that's going to be my answer for number 10. All right, number 11 is next. Quinn, Rhonda, and Sue share 3/4 of a whole pizza. Quinn was hungrier than Rhonda and ate twice as much as Rhonda. So twice as much is 2 to 1, Quinn to Rhonda. Sue ate 3/4 as much as Rhonda. So 3/4 is Sue to Rhonda. Now I'm going to adjust the ratios first this time because I've been doing it the other way all these times. So notice that Rhonda is in both. So if I want that to be the same, I'm going to want a 4 on the bottom for Rhonda in both ratios. That means the one on the right for Sue to Rhonda is going to stay 3 to 4. With the one on the left, I'm going to have to multiply top and bottom by 4. And that means that I'm going to end up with 8 for Quinn. So then when I set up my boxes, Quinn, Sue, and Rhonda, Quinn gets 8. Sue gets 3. And Rhonda gets 4. Okay. Then it tells me that they shared 3/4 of a whole pizza. So shared means they all 3 ate from that. So total number of boxes here is 15. And that's 3/4 of a pizza. Don't let the fractions scare you here. It's just another number. So we're going to divide both sides by 15. Now for the fractions, if you're taking 3/4 and dividing it by 15, that means you take 3/4 and you multiply it by 1/15. And then we can see that 5 goes into each one of these. Sorry, 3 goes into each one of these. And multiply across then, and we get 1/20th of a pizza. So each box is 1/20th of a pizza. So then Quinn has 8 boxes. So if you take this ratio and you multiply it by 8, that gives you 8 out of 20, which will reduce to 2/5 of a pizza. For Sue, you have 3 boxes. If we multiply both sides by 3, that gives us 3/20, 3/20ths of a pizza. And Rhonda has 4 boxes. So multiply that by 4 and you get 4/20 of a pizza. And of course, those first two could reduce if you want. All right, so that wraps up everything in the learning exercises. So next, we're going to go to the supplementary learning exercises. So let's start with number 2. Mama Bear ate 80% as much porridge as Papa Bear did. Okay, so this is given in percentages, so that means 80 out of 100, which reduces to 4/5, and that's Mama to Papa. Baby Bear ate 1/3 as much as Mama, so 1/3 is Baby to Mama. Now, again, these numbers are a little bit larger, so I'm going to go ahead and remedy these and make Mama the same in both places. 4 and 3, the only common multiple there is 12. So I'm going to have 12 for Mama up top in the first ratio and 12 for Mama in the bottom in the second ratio. And that means I'm multiplying the first ratio by 3 to get 15 for Papa. And I'm multiplying the second ratio by 4 to get 4 for Baby. And then I can set up my boxes. So Mama, Papa, and Baby. Mama gets 12. Papa gets 15. And Baby gets 4. All right. From here, it says Papa ate 1.2 liters more porridge than Mama Bear did. So Papa ate 1.2 liters more. So in my pictures with boxes, I do have that Papa eats more than Mama. How much more? Well, it's 12 and 15, so my picture's not great. So it means it's these 3, because Mama has 12 and Papa has 15. So he has 3 more. So the number of boxes he has more is 3 boxes. The number of liters he has more is 1.2. So I set that equal. I then can divide both sides by 3 to get 0.4 liters. And that's my ratio that I'm going to use to figure things out. To answer the question, it says, how much porridge did the 3 bears eat in all? So if I add them all up, Mama's 12 and Papa's 15, so that's 27. Plus Baby's 4 is 31 boxes. So I have 31 boxes. And 4 times 30.4 times 31 would be 12.4 liters. Next, we have number 3. From the supplementary learning exercises, in a recent year, Company A's revenues were 3/5 as large as Company B. So 3/5 relates Company A to Company B. But twice as large as Company C. So 2 to 1 would be A to C. Company B had 3.4 million in revenue more than Company A. Okay, so in this case, again, let's take a look at our ratios. And I've got A on top with a 3 and a 2. And so I'm going to make that 6 in both cases because that's the least common multiple. That means we're multiplying this first one by 2 to get 10 for B. And we're multiplying the second one by 3 to get 3 for C. And that way when I set up my boxes for A, B, and C, A gets 6 boxes. B gets 10. And C gets 3. Okay, so now it says 3.4 million in revenue more for B than A. So B than A. I do have more boxes for B than I do for A. I have 4 more boxes. So those 4 boxes has to be the 3.4 million. Divide both sides by 4. And that gives you 0.85 million. And then it asks for what were company C's revenue. So C is 3 boxes, which is the $2.55 million. And that's going to be your answer. And then the last question is number 6. Let's see if we can sneak it in here. Darla, Ellie, and Fran ate a whole container of ice cream. Darla ate half as much as Ellie. So 1/2 Darla to Ellie. Fran ate 5 times as much as Darla. So 5 to 1, Fran to Darla. The container of ice cream costs $6. So we're going to have Darla, Ellie, and Fran. Darla gets 1 for Ellie's 2. These are small ratios, so I'm going to work with them as is. For every 1 that Darla gets, Fran gets 5. And then the $6 is all 3 of them together. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 boxes is the $6. Divide both sides by 8 to get 1 box, which is 75 cents. And so that's what Darla's going to do. She's going to pay 75 cents. Ellie's got twice that. So $1.50. And Fran's got the rest. Her 5 boxes is going to be 3.75. And that completes the homework.